Adam, tell me what we're talking about today.
Matt, we are talking about part two of how to protect your business from digital extortion.
And do you have a story where that relates to you?
Yes. A few years ago, a bookkeeping company called us up and said, "Hey, we cannot access any of our files." We went out, never having worked with this company before. All of their files were encrypted. They had gotten hit by a ransomware program and it was asking for Bitcoins. So we went in and we said, okay, hey, this is not a problem. Let's take a look at all your backups. You've been paying your IT guy for those, right? He said, yeah, he's not returning our calls, but here's the information. We went in there. Unfortunately, there was no backups. The owner was extremely distraught. Long story short, we had to pay the ransom for the Bitcoins. We got the information back. And from there, we were fortunately able to decrypt their files. That's the plus side. The downside is they lost 3 days of productivity, and he spent thousands of dollars on those Bitcoins. So I want to talk today about how we can help people prevent that scenario for themselves.
Now, if we were a bigger video company, maybe someday we would have like swirling. This is where the swirling masthead comes in and goes, Now live,
Yeah. Yeah,
presenting."
that it was awkward. I was like, you're just sitting there. I'm just rambling.
No, it was good. We're not editing this. This is staying in. It is. I was just going
Okay.
to. I was going to. I'm just being self-deprecating
Yes.
because your. I thought your story was great, and this is not being edited.
Oh,
No, I wanted to say we at least have a new name. We have a
we
new name
do,
for the stream.
which is
It's called IT without the Bullsh.
nice. I love it.
IT without the Bullsh. B
Mm.
U L L S
Keeping
H
it PG.
P G I T. That took us an hour to come up with that idea.
I think it was an hour and a half, but anyway,
An hour and a half. I found out Adam doesn't like a lot of my ideas.
that is true.
Okay, so this is a person thought they had backups, didn't, ended up having to pay the ransom, and we
Yeah.
spoke a little bit about this yesterday.
hmm
Where do you feel we left off?
So I think we really just talked about what it is, how it happens. But what I
Sure.
think we should talk about today is what to do before to protect your business. And then really the second thing is if you get hit, what should you do?
So tell me how to keep me safe from these crypto hacker pirates.
So I would say there's really four things to do in advance. One, as we've talked about in prior episodes, is know your data, making sure that people have access only to what they need to do their job, right? So if they do get an infection, it contains the damage. Second is get backups, get them regularly tested. Talk to your IT company. You know, if you're not getting a daily report from your IT company, there's a problem.
What kind of report should you be getting, Dale?
Well, it all depends on what kind of backup solution that your IT provider gives you. It could be just a document that shows the number of files being backed up. It could be a pretty graph. It could be something like this. But really, at the end of the day, those reports mean very little if you don't understand them. So talk to your IT company, get a better understanding of what it is, and then challenge them. You know, sometimes I even tell prospective clients, say, hey, you know what? Create a fake file, wait a couple of days, let it get backed up, and then delete it. Call your IT company and say, hey, I need this restored. If they can't do that for you within a few minutes, that's a good sign that there's not a very good backup system in place.
So reports and do a little mini test.
hmm
And what else lets you know that you can sleep well
So,
at night?
so, so two other things. When it comes to hiring, background check your employees and also train them so that they are not clicking on links that they shouldn't. It's user error that 9 times out of 10 is what's causing these infections, letting the ransomware get in there. And then the final one is get proper insurance coverage. In this day and age, general liability and professional lines of insurances typically do not cover this. I would recommend checking with your insurance agent to make sure if you get encrypted, how is my business being protected?
So get some insurance.
Yep.
So do you feel like the can you recap all your suggestions for
Yes. Yeah. First, know your data and who has access to it. Second is create backups and make sure that they are working by doing restores. Third one is train your people. Fourth is protect your business with the proper insurance.
All right. So now I got cryptoed. I go in to get my files. I can't get them. What should I do?
The first thing is call your IT company. They need to get in there. As we talked a little bit about, sometimes the first step is just to shut everything down until they get somebody on site.
Now, before we go down this road,
Of course.
my first interruption. I've been better at that today. Let's talk about worst case scenarios. You got cryptoed. Worst case scenario is what?
Worst case scenario. Worst case is everything on your server, all your documents on your computers are encrypted, meaning you cannot access them.
That's fine. Let me add, the worst case scenario, to my knowledge, is server is completely messed, your on-site backup completely corrupted, and your off-site is completely corrupted.
That is correct.
That is the absolute ground zero COVID-19 of being cryptoed, correct?
That's, I would say, worse. I'd say we're talking Black Plague.
Black Plague.
Yeah.
Was Fauci around during the Black Plague?
Was what?
Fauci?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, no. He's old, but he's not that old.
He's not that old. Italy wants him. Anyway, so second worst case scenario is what?
That just your server and your on-site backups, but your off-site are good. Yes.
Right. And there's even a wiggle in between that, right? Because there's the off-site. You have off-site, but you didn't get the last 4 hours or 8 hours. So you have some, but you're still going to lose. And what's interesting is the business impact person I am is that people that I talk to look at this as I had bean counters work all day, 8 hours a day. I had 5 bean counters. Let's say I spent $20 an hour on those bean counters. Okay. So each bean counter worked 8 hours. That's $160. Bought everybody lunch and insurance. So we'll say, just for poops and giggles, let's round it up to 200.
Sure.
And I said, how many bean counters? 8? Let's even make it easier. Let's make it 10 bean counters. I had 10 bean counters. They worked 8 hours. I spent $200 on each. So that means I spent $2,000 on my 10 bean counters. And then cryptoed, I just lost $2,000. Is that right?
At a minimum, yeah, hard cost.
That's if that day isn't recoverable, let alone all the days prior, because data is valuable. Correct?
Yes.
So second worst case scenario is your offsite backups. Really should be your offsite or your onsite, either or are corrupted, but usually it would be your onsite are corrupted and your offsite isn't. That's the best, but we've seen it where both are corrupted.
Right.
And then better case scenario is server's broken, but you have your on-site and your off-site backup done. Now you think, well, that's not bad, right? You just restore. Well, you still lose time, right?
Yeah, your server is still going to be down. You're really going to lose at least a day of productivity in my experience.
The server needs to be fixed, and you need to reload everything back. And you have to make sure that stuff is you got to have the Kleenex to wipe that computer off, and then you got to wear the mask. You got to wear gloves.
Lysol, whole 9 yards.
You got to you get all that COVID out.
That's right.
So now you get the crypto, and what do you do?
So do you mean when it happens?
You were going to talk through what happens, but I just kind of wanted to talk about those like worst case scenarios. I think it frames it out a little bit, but regardless of that scenario, what do you do? Well, that's crypto.
Right. So again, call your IT company. They're most likely going to shut down the systems. I mean, every IT company, and I will say this, there are many versions of this virus. Some it makes sense to shut down, some it doesn't. What I wouldn't do is just start pulling plugs on equipment. That would be the wrong decision.
Okay.
Get your IT company on the phone. Tell them that you suspect that you've been hit. They're going to get a plan of action going. I would make sure that you're asking for accountability calls. Hey, I want an update in X number of hours. Okay, and keep asking for that. If they're on top of it, they're not going to have any problem in giving you direct answers. Second is I would call your insurance. Let them know, hey, I've been hit. give them information. And third is, and this one usually comes later once an investigation's been happening, is contact the FBI. They're gonna have some questions. Often they can do nothing because it often comes from out of country. But I have seen cases where those reports are necessary for the insurance company to file a claim. And who knows, maybe they can turn something up that actually helps your business.
So, in recap, we know that before you get hit, we kind of talked about that a little bit. Make sure you
Mm-hmm.
have backups on site and off site.
Yep.
I think we talked in our last one about closing all the ports, but that's really an IT person's job is make sure all the access is closed. You
Mm-hmm.
do get hit. Worst case is they got your backups on site, backups and off site. Better is they got just your on site, but your off site are good.
Mm-hmm.
Best is we have both backups, and you just need to have somebody refresh the server, unplug it, do all those right things, and
Sure.
then reinstall everything back. Is that correct?
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we hope
It,
none of you. Sorry, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say one other thing is it's an incredibly stressful time. I've seen this with a number of companies, and it's frustrating not only for the ownership and executives, but also for the staff. Communication is so important during this time. Um, I've seen that the companies that handle this better communicate a lot with their IT company and they distribute that information. But each company is going to want to take it themselves, particularly if they're under any compliance like HIPAA. There's a good chance they may have to notify patients.
Sure.
But that's something to discuss with typically your insurance agent and any compliance officers.
And this is part of the value of what we're doing is we want to give you information to take back to your current provider so you can say, how are my on-site backups? How are my off-site backups?
Yeah.
What is our plan in case we get hit and how we're preventing it, right?
Yes. Last thing I'll add is it's dangerous to believe that this won't happen to your own business. In my experience, there's no security that's 100%. And the people that respond quickly to this seem to have the best outcomes and in working with their IT provider to, um, more of, hey, let's get the problem solved, and then we can debrief after the fact.
Sounds great. Well, I hope that we've brought some value to everybody. I think we have. I think I'm supposed to say subscribe and like and comment below. And we'll see you soon. And we need a catchphrase at the end. That's Adam and Matt giving the IT without the bullsh. Is that it? Did I do that right?
That's it. Without the bullshit.
Without the bullsh. Okay.
See you, everyone.